Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this episode I'm going to be discussing my top 10 Royal Enfields of 2024 and why they matter. Now coming in at number 10 we have the Scram 411. Now the reason the Scram 411 is at number 10 is obvious. Its older brother or cousin, the Himalayan 411, has now been discontinued and replaced by the Himalayan 450. I think it's not going to be long till a Scram 450 comes out, and so I think the Scram 411's days are numbered. Don't get me wrong, it's a really good motorcycle. I've ridden them a few times. I found the seat to be pretty uncomfortable, but the bike's more than capable of, going off-road and doing some light touring and a bit of gravel, etc. Yeah, I think if you want to get yourself a bargain adventure bike or dirt bike, get yourself a Scram 411. Now coming in at number 9 is the Hunter 350. Now the Hunter 350 is your everyday sort of riding bike around town. It's not the kind of thing that you want to take on massive tours. The reason it's at number 9 as well for me is I think it probably has the most plastic out of a lot of the Royal Enfield range. It just doesn't have that similar sort of premium finish that bikes like the classic 350 share. Coming in at number 8 is the Meteor 350. Now this thing shook a few waves when it first came out. There was a lot of hype about it. It's got a massive following around the world. I used to own one myself. It was actually my first ever Royal Enfield. Yeah, to be honest, I grew out of it in about 3 months. I quickly needed a bit more power and replaced it with a Continental GT. But in recent times, the Meteor 350's been superseded by the Super Meteor. And this is going to probably cause a few road bumps for Royal Enfield, because I think a lot of users, if they wanted to get a bike, would probably just go straight for the Super Meteor. But we'll talk about that soon. Now my number 7 out of the top 10 Royal Enfields of 2024 would be the Shotgun 650. It's one of the new additions to the 650 family. The fit and finish of it is really good. I've never actually ridden one, but I've sat on them and I've found that the ergonomics are incredible. But for me, the reason it's number 7 is I think it's come so soon after the Super Meteor that there wasn't enough time to sort of have a breather. And it was teased ages ago with that like silver or chrome edition which they released for a concept bike a few years ago. And everyone was super excited, and I think it took so long for them to release it that when they finally did, a lot of people had moved on. The other thing with the Shotgun 650 is the graphics and a lot of the sort of branding on the bikes just feels a little bit too modern, especially on top of what seems like the silhouette of a modern classic motorcycle. I know that the bike is probably modeled quite heavily over the Indian Scout as well as the Triumph Bobber, if you were to put those two together. I just think if they were to do a few more classic versions of the Shotgun 650, I'd be a lot more interested. So coming in at number 6 is the Super Meteor 650. Now the Super Meteor was very, very highly anticipated here in New Zealand. I know a lot of people traded in their Interceptors for the Super Meteors. It's an incredibly comfy bike, and it's a lot of value for the money when it comes to touring motorcycles. I've sat on one before, the Celestial Blue, and I think possibly it may be one of the comfiest motorbikes I've ever sat on. I know I say that a lot, but this was like sitting in an armchair. It was incredible. Once again, I've never actually ridden the Super Meteor 650, but I'm very familiar with the 650 engines, having owned 3 parallel twin Royal Enfields myself. I think it's a great bike. It feels a little bit outdated in its design. And there's a few things I'd probably want to change with it, like there's quite a lot of silver componentry to the bike. I think the cruiser segment is pretty oversaturated, and it's quite hard for Royal Enfield to really break into the big boys like Harley and Indian. What they've done is appealed to part of the audience that would really like a Royal Enfield but have a cruiser as well, and the Super Meteor is a perfect bike for that. Now coming in at number 5 is the excellent Himalayan 450. I've sat on a few of these bikes. Once again, I've never ridden them, but I just really think that the fit and finish and the build quality is miles ahead of the previous 411. I really love that central dial that they have on the new Himalayan 450, as well as all the componentry is very top notch. I've been wanting to get into the adventure riding segment for a long time, and the Himalayan is very, very high up there, either that or the CF Moto, but yeah, we'll see about that. I just way prefer the styling of the Himalayan over the CF Moto, so you may be seeing a Himalayan 450 in my garage soon. Now, coming in at number 4 is the iconic Interceptor 650. This probably would have been higher if I'd done this review a couple of years ago, but I feel nothing significantly has really happened to the bike in recent years, and there's been so many releases since it came out that it's kind of been pushed down the line a little bit. But yeah, I think this is probably one of the most iconic Royal Enfields and has really brought the brand to the forefront. I've owned 2 Interceptor 650s and they're just fantastic bikes for their money, and you can buy them secondhand these days at a really good price as well. So if you're starting out in the motorcycle world, an Interceptor 650 is a really good bike to choose. It's great for touring, it's great for customizing, just great for commuting every day to work. It looks amazing. It's become a bit of an icon, and I'm a massive fan of the Interceptor 650, so it's coming in at number 4. Now, coming in at number 3, we have the recently released Bullet 350 featuring the all-new J-Series engine. Let's face it, the Bullet is the most iconic Royal Enfield motorcycle of all time. When you say the name, people know exactly what you're talking about. I just really love the new Bullet 350. I've been considering getting one myself, but we'll see about that. There's a lot of bikes on my short list at the moment. I love the fact that it's got that handmade quality with the pinstripes on the tanks, which are hand done by a team of artisans over in India. And I just love the simplicity of the motorcycle and the thump of the engine. And I also love just the color range. They've got like a limited color range, but they're so iconic and simple and classic. And when it comes to modern classics, that is one of the probably top 5 that are out there. Now, coming in at number 2 is the iconic Continental GT 650. Now, this is one of also the longest running bikes in Royal Enfield's history. Initially came out in the 50s, I think, as a 250cc. Then it was released in 2014 as the Continental GT 535, and then they rebirthed it with the new parallel twin 650 engines. And there's such a huge gap in the market at the moment for cafe racers because the Triumph Thruxton has recently been discontinued as of 2023 or 2024. The spot's there for the picking, and Continental GT has still got it. They are so fun to customize and great to ride. I know a lot of people complain that they're not the greatest for long distance, but I've seen people tour them like 1,000-kilometer trips. I think the riding position is not too aggressive. I had one myself. And if you're used to kind of cycling a bicycle, like a road bike where you're leaning forward, then the Continental GT is no different. I think if you want to look really cool around town, the Continental GT is the bike for you. It just has a classic heritage. You're going to get people coming up to you wanting to talk about the bike. Yeah, number 2 would be the Continental GT 650. All right, drum roll please. Coming in at number 1 is the classic 350. Yeah, that's right. You saw it coming, but I mean, yes, Royal Enfield have got a huge range of 650s and they keep releasing new bikes, but for me, the classic 350 is the one. It is a sort of derivative of the Bullet 350, which I just mentioned before, but to me, the styling is just that bit better. I love the chrome editions, the red and the sort of brown vintage looking colors. The fit and finish of the bikes is amazing. It's like just metal sort of componentry everywhere. I love the daylight running little lights. And the instrument cluster, the symmetry of that is just perfection. Yeah, the classic 350, if you've ridden it as well, like it's not all about the speed, it's about just the comfort and the smile it puts on your face. It's super easy to ride. The turning circle on it's incredible. And the exhaust note sounds amazing too. I think if I was to buy a Royal Enfield motorcycle today, it would be the classic 350. I just think it's iconic. It's something you could really be proud of in your garage. I think the price of it as well is so affordable and easy to reach for beginners as well as people that are returning to motorcycling. And it's a great accompanying bike. If say you've got a Himalayan 450 that you want to take into the mountains on the weekend, but you also want a little classic 350 you can take to like the DGR or take it onto motorcycle meetups, etc. So yeah, I'd say the Bullet 350 is probably the most iconic Royal Enfield, but for me, if I was to choose between the Bullet and the Classic, it would be the Classic 350. And you may just see one in my garage sometime soon. Who knows? Alright, thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think was your favorite Royal Enfield release of 2024, whether you think it was the Scram 411 or whether you think it was the Classic 350. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying my videos, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!